There was a small town, far away from the noise of big cities. A town where everyone knew each other's names, and everyone knew each other's struggles. In that town lived a boy named Aarav. Aarav was not special. He was not the smartest in school. He was not the strongest among his friends. And he was definitely not the luckiest. But what made Aarav different was his silence. He spoke very little, smiled very rarely, and listened a lot. Every morning, Aarav woke up before sunrise. Not because he wanted to, but because life demanded it. His father had passed away when Aarav was just 10 years old. Since then, his mother worked as a tailor, stitching clothes day and night to keep the house running. Aarav saw all of this. He felt it. And deep inside his heart, a promise was growing silently. One day, I will change everything. School days. At school, Aarav was often ignored. Some students laughed at his worn-out shoes. Some made fun of his old bag. And some teachers barely noticed him. But Aarav never complained. He sat on the last bench, watching the world, learning how people treat you when you have nothing. There was one thing Aarav loved deeply: writing. He wrote stories in an old notebook, using a pen that barely worked. Stories about hope. Stories about pain. Stories about people who rise after falling. But whenever he shared his dreams, people laughed. Stories won't feed you, they said. Be realistic, they said. Dreams are for rich people, they said. Each word hurt, but Aarav kept writing. The turning point. One evening, Aarav returned home to find his mother sitting quietly. Her sewing machine was silent. Her eyes were tired. She looked at him and said softly, "Aarav, I don't know how long I can continue this work." That night, Aarav couldn't sleep. For the first time, fear sat beside his dreams. He questioned himself. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if everyone is right? But then he opened his notebook, and there it was, his own words staring back at him. Words filled with courage he had forgotten he had. That night, Aarav made a decision, the final scene. Years later, Aarav stood on a stage. Lights everywhere, people clapping. But his eyes searched only one face, his mother. Tears rolled down her cheeks. And in that moment, Aarav realized something important. Success is not about proving others wrong. It's about proving yourself right. Success feels different. Success didn't come like a celebration. It came like relief. Aarav bought his mother a new sewing machine. Not because he hated the old one, but because he wanted her to rest. He didn't become arrogant. He became grateful. He didn't forget his past. He carried it with pride.
Lesson of the story. This story teaches us something very powerful. Not everyone starts life with comfort. Not everyone gets support. Not everyone is believed in. But that does not mean your dream is wrong. People will doubt you. People will laugh. People will tell you to stop. But if you keep going, if you stay honest with your passion, if you don't give up on yourself, life will listen one day. Remember this. Your background does not decide your future. Your consistency does. Believe in yourself, even when no one else does. Because sometimes, all it takes is one voice that refuses to stay silent.